This tab here actually has the design that you're going to start with, and you can see, most of the, actually all of the signals that are going to be part of your design exist. So let me kind of show you the shell that you're going to be working with. So this is the starting code that you'll have. So this code starts off with the program itself. So this is populating the instruction memory with the instructions of our program. And then you have the logic expressions for all of the signals that you can see in this diagram. Now many of those expressions you're going to fill in yourself. So everywhere you see a TBD, to be determined, that's to be determined by you. You're going to fill in all of these expressions to complete the logic of the CPU core. A few of the expressions are provided already for you just for reference to help you with the remaining expressions. But for the most part, you're going to develop all of the logic. And all right, so also navigating your design, just to sort of walk through the flow in MakerChip. So while you're editing, you're going to compile your design using this E menu in the editor. Choosing compile. While that's compiling, we can split windows inside MakerChip, so you can lay out your, and I shouldn't have done that so quickly. One of the bugs that you might encounter if your editor window will go white. If you just click inside the window, your code will pop up. So I'm going to put the log down here, which is a good layout to use. So as you're compiling, the first thing you want to check is your log to make sure your log is clean. This is a clean log. And then that's going to produce the logic diagram. It's going to produce the visualization that we just saw. So the visualization is part of this shell logic that we're providing for you. It all comes from a library that we include. And the simulation of your model that's used to power the visualization here in this tab also produces a waveform. So in this waveform window, which again, we'll lay this out so we can see everything. So here I can see the signals in my model and what they're doing, and this is your starting point code. So there's not really much happening here. If we zoom in here, we can see that the program counter is incrementing, but not much else is happening, and that's because the logic expressions aren't yet provided, and you're going to provide that behavior. If I look at the visualization just to see how things start off for you, if we step in simulation, we're going to see that the program counter is incrementing, that logic is provided. But if we look over at the decode logic, you'll see that the machine doesn't understand what the instruction is. And nothing's happening with the register file. And as you add your logic, you'll start to see the behavior that I illustrated earlier. All right. So what else to show? So just to give you, well, maybe that's good enough. So at this point, I think I'm going to have you guys start things off on your own. Open up this starting point code, set up your window to look much like this. So what I want you to do is, let me lay this out in a convenient way. So depending on your screen size, you might want a different number of panes. I will assume that you don't have a whole lot of screen real estate, especially since at the same time you're going to be viewing the videos. So I'll have you put the editor in this area, waveform and visualization down here. Actually, let's do the visualization up here and the log with the waveform. So, jumping back to the slides, what I want you to do now is load the starting point code, and to do that you're going to have to visit this URL. Just make that a little bigger and more visible. You're actually going to have to type in at least up through my name to get to my GitHub, and then within there, sorry, you can, and I'll do this as well so you can see. So I'll go to GitHub Steve Hoover, and within there, if you click on my repositories, and it looks like the first one that pops up hopefully will be this VSDOpen2020 tutorial. So click on there, and that has Starting Point Code, which you can access inside MakerChip by following this link. So we may have more links by the time you get here, depending on the number of participants. We're going to fire up a number of additional servers in addition to the main MakerChip server, and to get to the Starting Point Code, you'll have to follow these links, and we'll divide them up based on your birthday. So depending on the month that you were born, you'll click on the appropriate link. And I'm going to do so, and you can as well. And what I want you to do is set up your session so that it looks like the one that we were just looking at. Alright, so I'll leave this up on my screen so you can pause your video on this. And this is what I want you to recreate inside your own MakerChip session that you launch from that GitHub repository README.